The Cigar Nerds Podcast.
And welcome to Cigar Nerds Podcast. I'm your host, Smokin' Joe.
And I'm the Ginger Avenger, back again.
Yeah, Brad is back on the out on the road, doing God knows what he's doing.
I'm trying to see if I can make it move towards me. We're playing with new toys.
Anyway, so this week I am smoking the 601 La Bomba Warhead number 9, which is a weird-shaped bastard.
Some construction difficulties, are you there?
No, it's like it's called the La Bomba. It's kind of shaped to look like a missile, so it's kind of fat at the base and
Tapered
at the front, but it's closed foot and closed, so you pretty much have to clip both ends of it, because otherwise you're just like, you can't get any airflow to get it to get it lit.
It's a conspiracy with the cigar cutter people. They want you to use cigar cutters twice as much. They're in bed together.
Yeah, this is made by AJ Fernandez at his San Latano factory, and it's a all Nicaraguan puro, including the broadleaf wrapper, which is, normally, broadleafs are a Connecticut thing, but this is a Nicaraguan broadleaf.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So, and it's got kind of a cool
A little
artwork.
smaller than you usually go for, so we'll see how satisfying you find it by the time you're done with it.
We're gonna see if it'll last the the whole podcast. Because we are talking about time and time travel, I guess.
You're going to time travel to the India cigar?
The multiverse. Yes, we are talking about season 2 of Loki, is what we're going to be talking about in the main show.
Man, you told me this was Back to the Future.
Nah.
I watched the wrong stuff.
It would not surprise me.
Yeah, no. Hey. I'm going on strike. I'm going on podcast strike.
So if you have to fight off time-traveling clocks, you should call in the Strike Force. StrikeForceEnergy.com. Use your promo code CigarNerds for 20% off your order. Get all jacked up on the caffeine so you too can travel through time and go visit the TVA.
Yeah. I got to say there was some pretty good AI that added to it to make it look a little different, but you definitely could recognize it.
Yep, so we will be right back. And welcome back. It's time to revisit the God of Mischief and talk Loki Season 2. This just ended a few days ago, so we are not going to talk about the final episode until the end of the episode. So by the time when we start getting into the finale, I'll give you a good spoiler alert. If you've not seen any of it, well, then you're shit out of luck, because we're about to spoil everything up to the finale, and then we'll spoil the finale.
Okay, so we're going to spoil the whole thing. So just tell you flat out.
That's what a podcast does, dear.
Yes, I know. Thank you very much.
Which, Loki, kind of interesting, because out of all the Disney Plus Marvel series, this is the only thing that's gotten, like, a season 2. Like, everything else has pretty much been a self-contained storyline, where it's like, there's a beginning and an end, where Loki ended on a cliffhanger, and it was like, what? This is like the first series we've gotten that actually got a second season.
Let me tell you why that is. Because Tom Hiddleston has a major following because he's a himbo. And lots and lots and lots of women are very interested in him. So if you keep putting him in shows, then you get more women into the fan base, and it's just...
So if you take the wrapper off the 601 La Bomba, it's actually a little bomb.
Oh, that's cool. That'd make a really cool tattoo. Don't lose that. I like that. Don't lose it.
So you didn't watch, because historically you watch all the Marvel movies, but you've so far neglected most of the TV era of things.
That's true.
So now that you've seen Loki, was there anything that I guess didn't make sense from the movies you've watched that you're like, oh, okay?
Not that I can really think of.
So yeah, because like the multiverse is kind of created in season 1 of Loki, and so did Doctor Strange and Spider-Man make a little more. You're like, we gotta.
Yeah,
This is where the whole multiverse
I
shit came
guess,
from.
but it just doesn't seem very cohesive to me. But that's, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. There's a reason I don't really watch the TV series. Is the movies are more.
But at this point, you've kind of got to watch the TV series because
I see that.
I mean, the Marvels came out Friday, and if you've not watched the Miss Marvel series, you're gonna be like, "Who the hell is this little girl, and why she got superpowers?"
In a 3.5 hour, 3 hour movie, I think I can figure it out. I'm never home. That's the problem. I'm never home to watch TV. When I'm home, I want to sleep because I'm exhausted. But
so yeah, this starts off where last season ended and pretty much just dealt with the repercussions of last season. Where to recap, Sylvie kills He Who Remains and creates the multiverse, and the machinery of the TVA can't take all the branching timelines and is threatening to explode and destroy all of reality.
you just can't do it, Captain. We don't have the power.
The holes are too small.
Yeah, the holes are too small and we don't have the bandwidth.
It's like when you're trying to take too big of a shit. The hole is just too small. You're going to rip an O-ring.
Really? Okay.
Is there a better analogy? Oh.
Well, with some time, I'm sure I could come up with a better one, but this is, after all, what this podcast is founded on. Cheap, crasser humor, so.
And we got some, first off, Miss Minutes.
I fucking hate her. I hate her.
Your favorite character from both seasons.
No. That thing is fucking nightmare-inducing. The evil cartoon fucking waffle. That's what that is.
Again, her name is Miss Minutes.
I do not
She's
care.
A clock.
It's a fucking waffle. It is a fucking waffle. It does not have numbers. It has dashes. That is where the syrup fucking goes. That is a waffle.
Would you look at my freaking watch? It has dashes too. It doesn't have numbers. That's a normal watch thing.
That is a cartoon fucking waffle. I will fight about it to the death. That is an cartoon fucking waffle. And she is fucking terrifying.
Oh.
Now, I don't really like Sylvie at all, but she's just very off-putting to me. But fucking Miss Minutes is, ugh. That is fucking nightmare fuel.
Which is funny because you tell me this, that it's like, because you had to watch season 1 to catch up to season 2, and after season 1 was over, you're like, oh man, that freaking waffle lady is like creepy as shit, and I'm like, oh, just wait for it.
That is the
she
source
gets
of all
way
evil.
more menacing in season 2.
That is the true source of all evil. I don't care what He Who Remains. I don't give a shit. That evil cartoon bitch is behind the scenes pulling the strings. It's her. I do not care. That fucking psychotic cartoon bitch is all about the evil.
Yeah, it's the peppy, like, sweet Southern accent combined
Ew.
with just the vicious
Ew.
thing she does.
Ew.
It just makes it that much more creepy. Yeah, I'm gonna kill you, sweetie.
Ew. I'm not big on the Southern accent in the first place, but when you apply it to a vindictive cartoon creep show, it's just horrifying. It's horrifying. I don't like it.
How can you be not like the Southern accent and also be a fan of Dolly Parton?
I do not know how that dichotomy works, but it works. It just does. I don't know. Dolly Parton is an institution. The evil fucking cartoon waffle can fuck off. All the way off. That is fucking nightmare fuel.
Then I say, Tom Hiddleston great fucking actor, because the character arc of Loki in the Loki series, like in the movies, we saw him, go from
arrogant and cocky to defeated.
Well, I was going to say evil, and then through Thor Ragnarok, he lost his mother, and eventually, like, came to help Thor and become... I mean, he even, in the end, sacrificed himself to save Thor from Thanos. Where, in the Loki series, it's not the same Loki that had went through that progression. We are dealing with just post Battle of New York, Loki at his most evil, and Morpheus. Morbius
is a different time travel type issue. It's a whole other situation.
So yeah, Morbius in season 1 kind of has to like fast forward him through to like being good Loki, by hey, here's all the bad shit that like that would have happened to you if you continued down the path that you were on.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, hey, it's your fault your mom's dead. That's gonna snap anybody just below the level of complete psychotic out a little bit, because hey, by the way, you killed your mom. That doesn't go over well for anybody, just most anybody.
But by the time we pick up with season 2, he's no longer kind of doing this stuff for his own advancement. He's like legitimately like worried about his friends. He's no longer like, I'm doing this because I'm stuck here.
Because he never had friends before.
He even says when the loom explodes and they all kind of get scattered to the timeline that he's like, they're like trying to
You're
figure
getting awful close to the...
No, that's episode 3. But, as Ouroboros is trying to like, hey, you gotta learn to control your time skipping and stuff like that, and it's like, you've got to admit to kind of
what your base motivation is, what your actual motivation is.
He's like, well, I got to stop, He Who Remains, or I got to save the world. And finally, he's like, just like, I don't want to be alone. Like,
I just want my friends back. I have friends now, and I like my friends.
Yeah, that's like kind of huge for Loki to make that admission.
That's how it works with all like deep in the wool introverts. It's like, you get that certain little group of people, and it's like, no, I will commit horrible atrocities for these people. These are my people. I have found my colony.
But yeah, to back up to episode 1, Sylvie kicked Loki through a time hole, and now he's like skipping back and forth between times, which the effect on that was horrific looking. It kind of reminded me of The Thing.
A little bit, yeah. That was kind of, it was kind of gross. God, what else was it? Not just The Thing, but there was another one that's not The Fly, but maybe it was something. I don't know. It was creepy and kind of gross.
Yeah, and he's like, dude, we got to fix this. Like, he's like, yeah, but we have to stop He Who Remains. Like, yeah, but to do that, I need a Loki Who Remains. And I honestly can't look at this anymore. You said it wasn't that bad. I was lying. And they're like in an elevator, and he's like, you tell him, what did it look like to you? And like the other person's just fucking traumatized.
He's laying on the floor, just sucking his thumb, because it's like, I can't deal with this.
And then we get introduction to our first new character in the series, played by Short Round, aka Ki Hu Kwan, as Ouroboros, who is like
OB. Of course we call him OB. That's just like, I don't know.
TVA technician who works in repairs and advancements.
And authored the handbook. That's the most important part. He authored the handbook. Because the handbook saves us all.
It's the instruction manual for the TVA.
Which is only the size of like a traveling, hotel Bible. So it's not like there's a lot of information in there you would expect. But
well, maybe he writes really small.
I guess so.
It's kind of like Doctor Who. It's bigger on the inside.
Yeah. Okay. Well, kind of like Doctor Who. Explain to me that TVA, which is a place out of space and time, has the shoddiest 80s fucking technology. I have a pull-out slide keyboard phone that was more higher ed technology than their, what was it, temp pads?
Yeah.
Those bitches were still analog and had 8-bit graphics.
Well, I mean, it was, I'd say more 50s looking than 80s.
Maybe. I don't know.
It was kind of made to look, I mean, that Miss Minutes kind of fits in with that whole,
Ugh.
like,
Ugh.
80s, or not, God damn it, you got me saying it now, like 50s sci-fi aesthetic.
I don't remember a whole lot of 50s sci-fi, honestly.
It's like the original sci-fi, I mean.
But the 8-bit is more like Atari stage. Original Nintendo. That was
I think
80s.
the original Nintendo was 8-bit. I don't even know how many bits Atari was. Like 4 maybe. I mean, that shit
Yeah,
was
but that's what it looked like. The graphics are the same.
everything made out of blocks.
Yep, because squares are easy to draw.
Now, did watching Loki season 2 make you really want some key lime pie?
No, I don't like key lime pie.
It's like they
Whole fucking, all the pie case, the wall of pie,
It's
which would have
just
been
key
like heaven for fucking Dean, but it was all one kind of pie. You got a whole fucking wall of pie, but it's all one kind of pie. This is pie of the day, the only pie you get.
Well, it had to fit the aesthetic because everything, you know.
So the pastel and lime green fit the aesthetic.
Yes, because everything is kind of Loki green. Green is Loki's color.
Yes,
Even his magic shit is like green, so it's like, you know, we gotta, key lime pie, so it'll fit the green hues. And did you notice how things got greener as it went along?
Yeah. Except Sylvie's outfit, because her outfit had almost no green in it at all. But
Like, it started off like there's a lot of browns in season 1, and as we kind of progressed to the wrap up of Loki, everything seemed to get greener.
it's a foreshadowing. That's what it is. I don't know for what, but it's foreshadowing.
So yeah, that whole first episode when we're first introduced OB,
I love me some short round.
him with Loki jumping back and forth and explaining kind of their situation of how they need to fix things in the past and in the present. It was kind of cool because he's like, nah, to do that I would I've never seen that before. You can't time travel time slip within the TVA. And then like Loki's in the past going, dude, I time slipped. And he's like, wait a minute, I have seen that before. It's like him talking to Loki
I've
in the past.
seen you do it before, as a matter of fact, now that I remember.
And Mobius talking to him in the present, I guess you would call it. He's like, but we would need this, we'd have to build this thing. Like, I don't have one of those. And then he's like, Loki in the past, like, telling him what he needs to build. He's like,
Hey,
wait a
I need
minute.
you to build this thing so we can come back in, however long and find it. I need that thing to be here and ready.
It's like, wait a minute, I do have this thing. It's in this drawer. It's been here for the last millennia.
Somebody appeared to me in a vision and told me to build this thing and said it would come in handy later.
It was like downloading files. Like, he'd be like, no, we don't have that. Oh, no, it just downloaded. Yeah, we have that thing.
Yeah, we got that. No worries. I have that information. I've seen that information. It's fine.
Yeah, and like and I like how they used, because like I said, when he's doing this time jumping and shit, everything you see him do, you eventually see happen again.
Well, that's kind of the nature of time travel, isn't it?
But it's like, he's catching up to himself. Because even when, hell, it might have even been the start of this season, but it might have been the end of last season when he's like running through the TVA and you see all the troopers go by, like, we're going to the armory. Well, later on you find out, like, when the surviving judges, one of them is like, all right, cool, there's a multiverse, like, there's people on these timelines, we can't keep pruning stuff because we're killing innocent people, where the other judge is like, starts her plan to like, no, we're gonna
Fuck it,
prune
we're gonna
everything.
prune it all. Prune it all. Kill it all with fire. We'll sort it out later.
She tells the troopers loyal to her to go to the armory and get all the whatever pruning bombs or they used to prune timelines. So it's like
The reset buttons.
yeah. So it's like oh yeah that fucking 3 episodes ago when you saw all those guys running by going to the armory. We've caught up to that part of the timeline.
Speaking of the judge that decided to be reasonable, do you know who she reminds me of? What was her name? Hattie from NCIS?
Yeah, NCS.
I almost thought it was the same character for a minute, but it's not her.
Oh, and then you've got Sylvie, like, gets her vengeance upon he who remains, and then it's like, I want to be normal. What am I going to do to be normal? Oh, I'm going to go work at a 1980s McDonald's.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And I got to say, for their, whatever...
I have kick-started the apocalypse, and now I want to go make McDonald's fries. That is my new life.
It's like 70s or 80s. Like, when she walks in there, she's like, give me one of everything. I must try it all.
This is the light. I have come to the light, and it's the golden arches.
But I gotta say, their, like, set decoration department did an excellent... That straight up looked like...
Yeah, it did look like an old
OG
school
McDonald's. I mean, just the level of detail.
God, did you see the uniforms?
I mean,
The
even
pants and the out. I mean, it had pants with it. The whole outfit is
the old school like sunroom that a lot of restaurants in that time had.
it's like the Wendy's patio. I think they were the last holdout for the patio.
Yeah, like and I remember when they used to have smoking sections, and usually that patio was the
Yep.
the smoking
They
section.
had their own little ashtrays too that had McDonald's M's on them. Little tin. They flew pretty well. If you threw them, it was like a little mini frisbee.
Little ninja stars.
They flew pretty far.
Ninja star.
Well, you might have to sharpen them up a little bit, but they
Just
flew
make
pretty funny. It was fun.
Oh, but yeah, that I mean, they even had like the old school styrofoam containers before like they decided that was bad for the environment. Went to cardboard. It was like, well, I remember this. This is my childhood. Where's the playland?
There was no Playland. I didn't see any Playland.
I don't remember seeing one either.
Must have been before the Playland, because I don't know when the Playlands actually started coming out. You'd have to Google it.
Does any restaurant have a playland anymore?
I don't think so.
That used to be like the thing. Well,
I mean, too many
indoor
breakouts of
ones. Like McDonald's
E. coli
still
and
has like
stuff in the ball pits. That's why they got rid of the ball pits, because everybody was getting tons of diseases from the ball pit.
yeah.
And there were snakes. There were snakes in some of the outdoor ball pits. That's why they got rid of the outdoor ones, because there were snakes crawling into the ball pit.
But yeah, like some of the McDonald's, I know the Burger King has like an indoor play, but the outdoor playgrounds, like they don't have those anymore.
Too much of an insurance risk. But yeah, that is why they got rid of the outdoor ball pits, because snakes would crawl in there to try to get warm, and kids were getting bit by snakes. Because they were trying
Sounds like a weird urban legend.
Snakes in a ball pit, not snakes on a plane. But yeah, they were...
Tired of these motherfucking snakes in this motherfucking ball
These
pit.
motherfucking snakes in these motherfucking ball pit. And little Timmy got bit twice last week.
I want to say we need like an adult playground, like adult-sized playgrounds with a bar. Like you can just get drunk and go in a ball pit.
Can you just think for 1 second what would happen if you got
Someone would
drunk
definitely piss in the ball pit.
and then
but
fell... I'm more worried about somebody puking in the ball pit. But then, of course, the problem is somebody falls to the bottom and gets trampled. But they do make they use foam now, so you can't hurt yourself. It's all foam. You gotta go jump in the foam pit.
I think foam would be worse because you puke in the foam like sucks it up. Like at least the ball pit, you can kind of put up a drain in the bottom and just hose the damn thing out.
No, you gotta take the balls out and wash them individually. You gotta wash your balls over and over.
Yeah, somebody get a job as a ball washer.
Run your balls through the dishwasher, If you got one of the little pulley downy dishwashers, you can wash lots of the balls at the same time.
Alrighty then.
Anybody that's worked in food service knows what I'm talking about with the pulley downy dishwasher. It's the bottom, the square tray. You push the tray of dishes into it, pull the lid down, and it starts to wash on its own. It's very cool. Everybody knows. Everybody that's ever worked in food knows what an industrial dishwasher looks like.
Alrighty then.
You wash all the balls at one time.
So, Jonathan Majors, a.k.a. He Who Remains, a.k.a. variants of a little guy named Kang the Conqueror. Not to be confused with Krang from the Mutant Ninja Turtles, but maybe that was a...
Yeah, but at least Krang had a personality. I didn't like him either. At least not in that iteration.
Well, so you haven't watched...
No, I gotta watch.
You gotta watch Ant-Man because he's way more menacing in that, and then you get to see the whole like Council of Kangs. But yeah, like I mean, his whole purpose of this like creating this sacred timeline is like, I don't want all my evil or more evil
I mean,
variants.
yes, there was a benevolent point to it. There was the whole idea behind it was benevolent. But I guess if you have limitless abilities, limitless power, and limitless control over people, and you are by yourself except for a fucked up little cartoon waffle, you kind of become an asshole. You kind of just become an arrogant dickhead.
Well, he kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Enslaves all of reality to protect it. I mean, it's kind of like the saying,
how many times has that been said by different people over the course of history, though? You're going to follow what I say because I am right and I will protect us all. I think Hitler said something along those lines.
I mean, there's another saying. It's like, I prefer dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery or safe slavery. Something like that. Yeah. So it's like, fuck that. Give us free will. Let us, endanger ourselves.
We're going to fuck ourselves up. We don't want you to do it ourselves.
But I like, because one of the things they're like, all right, we figured out how to fix the loom, but we can't get in because we need a scan of the designer, aka He Who Remains, but we don't.
Which is a little bit of a flaw in the design, don't you think? Because you need this motherfucker from the end of time to come over here and scan his face so you can.
Well, not if he's the one that built it. He's like, I can't, keep anybody from shutting my shit down. And unfortunately, he's dead, so they're trying to find a living variant. And they had the most steampunk of episodes and travel to 1893 World's Fair, where it turns out he's basically a science con man.
Well, I mean, what else are you going to do? Because nobody's going to believe you when you're going to tell them I have all these wonderful scientific ideas, especially if you happen to be of that color persuasion. That was going to make it even harder. So
it's kind of wild because his
you got to find your money to research your shit and fund it somehow.
Because he tells Sylvie and Loki, if you kill me, so your choice is either take over or you kill me. The multiverse happens and another multiversal war happens, and I eventually get reincarnated and we're right back where we started. Well, his kind of plan, you saw at the end of season 1.
It's kind of like that.
Was it
Kobayashi Maru or whatever? It's an impossible choice.
Yeah, what's her name? Renslayer. She's going off on her kind of own mission to.
Her whole motivation becomes cloudy, and there's no actual.
But her first kind of stop in history is to give the TVA handbook to a young
Victor Timely,
who then invents the time travel and the TVA and all this other shit. So it's like, it's a very snake eating its tail type of thing where it's like, all right, the guy who invented all this shit sent the book back to himself to reinvent all this shit.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So it's like, how did he invent this shit in the beginning? Speaking
of which, can we give a little credit to the fucking writers for the names in this show? Ravonna Renslayer, Ouroboros, OB, Victor Timely. I mean, it's clever. It's obnoxious, but it's clever.
Oh, but yeah, when OB meets Victor Timely, and it's like, oh, like,
I'm the guy you need right now, and my name is Victor Timely. I mean,
but it was them two, like, oh, like you're he who remains. Like, I based all my stuff off of you, and he's like, I based all my stuff off of. It's like, who wrote the thing to begin with?
It's a chicken and egg situation.
Yes. It's one thing. I hate time travel movies and shit. It gives me a headache trying to figure this shit out.
Yeah, that is very true.
Oh. And then but yeah, the whole them running around like 1800s World Fair. It's like, we've got to search this. There's like, we found a newspaper. It said a ghost clock is haunting this town. We got to, Ramona's got to be here.
Ugh.
And so they just go like around the whole, like, it kind of reminds me of Epcot Center with like the different countries and shit.
I don't know. I've never been there.
Well, they have like sections made up that are different countries. There's like an around the world section. And it's like them just kind of going around, and like Mobius is like, we got to try all the snacks. It's like, I haven't been out of the TVA. Like, we need to like, it's like, dude, we're supposed to be looking for like a ghost clock, and
he didn't even want to go check out any of his own variants, but I have to try all the foods. And then I'm gonna go back and settle for this lime green fucking pie that.
I mean, sometimes you just
and hot chocolate. There you go.
Sometimes you just need a little pie.
It worked for Dean. It doesn't work for Mobius.
Or before that, when they're trying to find Sylvie and figure out the plan of the other time cops, you know, they go back and get Brad, aka Hunter X5, who.
Where the fuck did that even fit in? Because, what was it, Zaniacs? The Zaniacs movie? It's like, what the fuck is this even supposed to be?
Hell, there's a Zaniacs video game in one of the.
Oh, I saw. There's the game the case. What was it? Arcade case.
Yeah.
Old school.
Yeah. So Hunter X5 is sent to track down Sylvie because they're still like she's kind of.
She's still kind of a danger.
And he does find her, but then he like decides like, fuck this, like the world's ending.
I'm gonna be an actor.
I'm gonna go jump on my area of the timeline. But that whole like chase scene through, they're like, he's like, oh, hey guys, I'll be here. Oh yeah. And then like he's running. Is it? Yes, he's running. You let him go.
Yeah. He said he was gonna go get us a drink. Don't ever believe that shit. Walk with him. We're going to go get a drink. Let's go together, because that how it makes sense.
But yeah, they bring him back to that.
It's like saying, I'm going to go use the bathroom, and everybody sneaks out the window in the bathroom. We know where this is going.
But when they bring him back to the TVA and start trying to question him, because they're like, he has to have found her, because he's a hunter. He wouldn't have pissed off on his own without completing his mission. And so they bring out he's like, you forget, I'm evil, Loki. I've done horrible things. I'm going to pull out this space vacuum cleaner and put you in a box. Which
looked like a gigantic fucking version of the original Hoover. It had the whole big cord that came out of it and everything.
It's like that shit people used to sell like door to door.
Exactly.
Those super expensive vacuum cleaners.
Has the hose that's a mile long and 16 different attachments you have to add on, and they sell them door to door.
And what the hell does that have to do with creating a box force field? I was like,
I know.
Are you about to like suck him or something?
Like something from a fucking Looney Tunes cartoon.
It's like, I'm not even really sure how all these buttons work. I'm just going to start hitting them until they start squishing
that
you.
That is definitely based on something Wile E. Coyote tried to use on the fucking Roadrunner. That's what that was. That is has Acme all fucking over it.
But he gives up Sylvie's McDonald's on one of the branch timelines. And
after he's tortured, because the biggest torture we can come up with is putting you into a decreasing in size box. Now, I mean, yeah, if you go all the way to your squash, that could be a torture thing. But otherwise, it's just, I'm just going to decrease the size of this box you're in.
Maybe he's claustrophobic. We don't know.
Maybe everybody is, because everybody's afraid of this torture box.
Well, you see what happens with it later.
Well, you don't actually see it, but yeah. But you hear it. There's drips and...
Oh, yeah, because...
Your mind can fill the gore in.
Because when they go to...
Disney does not allow visual gore. You can hear... There's auditory gore, but you can't have visual gore.
But yeah, when they... track down Sylvie and her McDonald's, and Brad's awful like, we need her to get the hell out of here. He's like, why are you so scared to be here? And finally he's like, because this reality is about to go bye-bye. The other TVA is like, they're going to prune everything whether you like it or not, and they finds out they're like kind of hiding out and just throwing bombs through time portals. And of course
kind of reminds me of I don't know if you saw Monsters Inc., but it's like when they're trying to at the end with the factory, and the creepy little lizard dude's in charge. It's like, we're gonna destroy all of these doors. You just open the door and chuck it in. If you'd watched any of the animated Disney movies, you'd know what I was talking about right now, instead of looking at me with that blank expression, but it's okay. I know what I'm talking about. It's fine.
Hey, there's probably somebody listening that knows what you're talking about, so I'm just going to let you cook.
Yeah, somebody's not all of us are Nazis. Some of us have seen animated Disney movies.
I've seen animated Disney movies, just none past, the age of 8.
Okay, so what would that be? Like Snow White?
Yes. I've seen Snow White. I've seen Bambi. I've seen all the...
Bambi sucks. Bambi fucking sucks, by the way. I fucking hate Bambi. I fucking hate it.
You're just a communist.
I am not a communist.
You don't like Top Gun. You don't like Bambi.
I don't like Top Gun. I don't like fucking Bambi. I don't like E.T. either, but apparently that's one of the... Everybody's supposed to love E.T. I don't like E.T.
I like the OG one before they re-edited it.
They re-edited E.T.?
When they re-released E.T., they took the guns out of it.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I didn't like E.T. the first time.
Come on, man. Makes you really want some Reese's Pieces.
I like Reese's Pieces. I like Drew Barrymore. E.T. looks like a fucking nutsack. I'm sorry.
That's what E.T. stands for. Extra testicle.
Okay, basically. It's like a nutsack with long pointy fingers.
Elliot.
Probably smells like a nutsack too.
Oh.
You ever look at something and you can tell how it smells? E.T. smells like a nutsack. That's just the way it is. I promise you. It's like looking at a hairless cat. Yes, they're very cute, but I'm sure they don't smell good.
Oh, hairless cats, man.
Hairless cats are cute, but I'm sure they smell like asshole.
They look like a nutsack with a nutsack. If you get a male one, it's like nutsack inception.
And they leave butt puckers on glass. I found that out. They leave butt puckers on the glass. It's funny because they have like a
Title of this episode: Butt Puckers.
There's no suction because there's nothing to break the suction because there's no fur on their asses. Don't ask me why I know this, but I know this. Hairless cats leave ass puckers on glass tables.
Get fucking stuck.
They don't get stuck. It's not that much of a suction.
We're not talking like spatula.
We're not talking like a spatula and sliding the dog's balls off the fucking. We're not talking a Joe Dirt moment here, but they leave butt puckers, little round butt puckers on glass. Don't ask me why I know, but I do know.
You've been onto the dark side of Twitter, dear.
I don't go on Twitter.
I mean, not Twitter. Fucking TikTok.
TikTok, yeah.
You've seen things that can't be unseen.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh.
Shrek is love. I'll never unsee that shit.
Oh, that's just fun. Yeah,
I can't stay lit. I'm sorry, did I just break your brain with the cat butt puckers?
No, I had a thing, but it's kind of ties in more to the final episode. I'm not ready to go there yet, so I'll save my thought for...
We went off track with cat butt puckers.
But yeah, like... They're like, we need some help, so let's go try to convince the TVA agents that we've arrested to put down our distance and help us stop the world from ending.
We're gonna go give an epic speech, and because of that epic speech, people are gonna be one to our side.
Renslayer and Miss Minutes get there first and try to convince them to help her take over the TVA. And
what is her actual motivation? Because she never actually. You never see what if she has a motivation at all. What, do you want to be he who remains? Is that the goal now? Or what do you want? Do you want to be in charge of the TVA? What is your deal?
I think that was her original motivation, that she was going to be his kind of partner, and because she's all about like law and order, like no, the instructions of he who remains are sacred, and then because that's why she's trying to get Victor Timely and kind of use him to recreate
You have gone
everything.
too far into your job at that point, because she's just like, no, this is the way it has to be, because I have done all of this work and I am the only one who can keep it all together.
But then
But you're not right.
Miss Minutes takes her to the end of time and shows her that
Lion, psychotic, fucking cartoon bitch.
that she helped him end the multiversal war and start the TVA, and then he blanked everybody's mind and put them in this kind of bureaucratic cycle where so only he remains because he doesn't want to share, and she's like, oh fuck him, I'm gonna be the new she who remains. And but yeah, when she gets to the people before B-15 can come in and convince them to help, and squishes them all in the box. And the one judge is like, how's it feel that we'd rather die than join you? And that just because you don't get to see it what actually happens. You get to hear it, and it's kind of squishy and gross. But you see her kind of like her and Brad both be like, oh, but Miss Menace is like, oh yeah, squish him. Like she got like extra fucking creepy in that scene.
We already found out why, because we went to the World's Fair and she was trying to talk to Victor Timely about why you didn't give me a body. Why did you not let me be your girlfriend? I wanted to be your girl. You should have given me a body. She's pissed because they have bodies and she does not. She does not want to be a cartoon waffle anymore. She wants to be a human waffle or a human cartoon or whatever. She wants a sentient body.
But yeah, you know, as we know, everyone in the TVA are basically variants that have been plucked through time and given these new identities. Well, they think they come up with a way to stop the time loom from exploding, but it explodes anyway, and everybody gets kind of knocked back onto their various timelines, and Loki's got to go get the band back together and starts traveling from, like, as he's learning to time slip on purpose, traveling from reality to reality. And it's kind of cool. You get to see who everybody was before.
At least one variant of them, not.
Yeah, so B-15 was like, you know, a doctor, but little Casey was one of the. Cause that's one thing I like when they sneak like real history in it. Like, you know, season 1, we find out Loki was actually what's his name? DB Cooper, where 3 people escaped from Alcatraz and they were never found. Apparently, one of them was Casey. That's why he was never found. Because he got sucked to the TVA, apparently.
Yeah, and told Loki, go find your own fucking boat, motherfucker.
But, like, the one guy who's kind of like
There's only room for 3 bitches in this boat, and we got 3 bitches. You have to go find your own way.
The nerdy dude turned out to be, like, you know, some badass gangster that escaped from prison. And, of course...
bank robber, from what I understand, because he's like, oh, yeah, can you use that thing to get into bank vaults?
And you've got, you know, of course we knew Mobius was going to have, because, you know, he's like obsessed with, like, he has like jet ski magazines in his office at the TVA. Turns out, yeah, he was a jet ski salesman. We're like, yep, that definitely saw that come. We never got, you know, everyone wanted to see him ride a jet ski. We kind of got him like fake riding a jet ski, but yeah, you got to see him as a.
Well, as a dealer, he probably got to ride them in real life at some point.
But I like that.
So he had 2 in his garage. He said when his wife left him, he had to sell one because he didn't have anybody else. Apparently, they rode together.
Well, his wife died. She didn't leave him. So he says he's a single father, and
yeah, but he didn't say he was widowed. He just said she was gone.
Pretty sure that's implied. I'm pretty sure he actually said that his wife died at one point when he was talking to Loki.
Don't remember that part.
Before, you know, he turned back into Mobius. Whatever.
It's Mobius because it's
we got so many M's.
Mobius strip.
We got Morpheus, we got Mobius, and then we got Morbius, the goddamn vampire.
No, Mobius because it's time related. It's a Mobius strip. That's where it's based off of. It's like Ouroboros is actually Aurora Borealis, and that's
Ouroboros is a thing. That's that symbol of a snake eating its tail. That means, you know, kind of.
And why did M15 not get a name? Why do we not? Can we not give her a name? Why has she not gotten her name back?
I don't know. Did they ever say what her?
They did once. They said when they went back to her timeline. They said what her name was, but it was only pronounced once in the whole show, or the whole season.
Yeah, it doesn't have Dr. Verity Willis. A pediatrician from 2012 New York City is who her identity was.
Now, that actress's real name, I saw it, I can't pronounce it, but it's Nigerian, so that might be why it's a little difficult to pronounce.
Wunmi Mosaku?
Yeah, something like that.
Mosaku? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but that's how it looks on the printed thing.
She was good. I liked her.
All right, I guess we've put it off as long as we can. Spoiler alert, we're going to talk about how this all wraps up, because Loki finally gets his groove back and figures out how to time travel on purpose and goes back to the point when the loom explodes and starts trying to figure out. He's like, you know, Obi, like, what could we have done differently? He's like, we were too late, so he just keeps going back.
We're going to tweak this, and we're going to change this, and we're going to fix this, and then I got to fix this, because that's how time travel movies work. Once you get to that point where everything goes to shit, you start adjusting things.
But, you know, he starts going back and trying to get him out there faster. That doesn't work. He's like, no, we need to go back farther, not just
He's like
faster.
having his own version of Groundhog Day. It's like, if I fix this and this and this and move this guy over here and trip this one on the way, we're good.
And then eventually it's like, all right, this would work a lot faster if I do it myself. How long would it take you to teach me everything you know? He's like, that's impossible. It's better for me to do it. He's like, just humor me. Like, how long would it take you to teach me everything? I don't know, centuries? And it's like, centuries later.
Yep.
And he just comes in like, all right, we're going to do this. And then they're like, what the fuck happened?
How do you know how to touch? What are you doing? He's like, no, I got that. Here.
And it's still, the guy, it worked. And then, no, it still explodes. So he's like, well, I got to go back even farther. So then he starts trying to stop Sylvie from killing He Who Remains. And then eventually, like...
And they end up fighting forever and ever and ever, because...
And eventually, like, he, kind of hits pause, and he's like, all right, are you ready to have a conversation about this? Like, I'm surprised you haven't figured out to, like, how to stop time yet. And then, but hey, why don't y'all fight it out a little bit more, and we'll have this conversation when you're ready. So he starts time back, and then Loki stops it, and he's like, why do you think this is the first time we've had this conversation? He's like, ooh, one for Loki. You are becoming the time
Well,
master.
I mean, he's fighting himself. He's trying to keep another version of himself that's born of rage and has nothing to live on but revenge. It's his own. He's fighting himself, a new version of him. Yes, I have all these mischievous plans and trickster god ideas, and you have to stop every one of them, except I have more motivation than you do, because I've lived my entire life for revenge.
But he's also, like, refusing to kill her, which would be the simple answer. He's like, no, I gotta find a way to, so everyone lives. So all my friends live.
By the
at
way,
least.
did you notice? Got to represent the rainbow here. When they're sitting
Skittles?
outside... No. The Alphabet Mafia. When they're sitting outside of the little building before they go fight Altea, or what was the dragon cloud thing's name?
Yeah, something like that.
They're sitting there on the grass having a conversation, and him and Sylvie, and she's like, yeah, have you ever with anyone? He said, yeah, there was women, there was men.
That was a horse.
There was a horse?
In the comics, Loki
Oh.
became a horse at one point.
Well, yeah.
I mean, he's very fluid.
So, rumors are true. Tom Hiddleston, or the Loki character, is definitely biased.
Tom Hiddleston's wife is also in the MCU now. Apparently, she's the big bad in the Marvels, which I've not seen yet.
I'm not sure who his wife is. I don't know his wife.
I didn't either until I saw
didn't know
a
he was
thing
married.
pop up that she was in the Marvels. But yeah, then he ends up going back to, like, he's like, has this conversation with He Who Remains about, and he's like, the loom is a fail-safe. There's no fixing it. It's not a scaling issue. It's like, it's made to...
It's not meant to be fixed. It's meant to...
If things go to shit, it's supposed to explode and erase everything except the sacred timeline. There's no way out of this unless you figure out this stuff on his own. And finally he goes back to, like, day one of Mobius, and he's like, when he's trying to, like, convince them to be the good guy, and he's like, all right, dude, here's what you're about to tell me, but explain to me, like, how you make the hard decision. How do you choose who lives and who dies? And
He says, I didn't. Ravonna did.
but he's like,
I couldn't kill the 8-year-old, but Ravonna, she took care of that shit. That's how she became the judge, and I'm still just the analyst. Because she took out kids.
but he kind of has that gonna have to make the hard decision moment, and goes back and tries to convince so you think he's just gonna, like, off her, but then he's like, goes all the way back to the moment things kind of explode, and it's like, I know what type of god I want to be. And it's kind of back to the Loki who sacrificed himself to save Thor. He's like, I'm gonna go basically,
I am now going to become He Who Remains, and I'm going to pull all the strings. And that, I'll admit it, I watched the last episode last night, and I couldn't. I get it, but I don't get it.
well, because he says, the multiverse, the timelines are expanding infinitely and they can't survive. Well, when he kind of becomes the god of time, Like once the loom, or he goes out there and explodes the loom before it can explode and erase all the timelines. So now the timelines aren't erasing, and then he uses his power to keep the timelines alive, and they all kind of run through him now. Where it's like, and I don't know, are you familiar with the Tree of Life? Like,
yes, that's what it became at the
it
end.
kinda,
That's what it looked like.
And him just kind of sitting there at the center of time and space, keeping everything running. You know, he created the
Where's your watchers in all
multiverse.
this? Where do your watchers figure in? Because
they're just watching. That's what they do. They don't interfere unless it's going to destroy all of reality.
I think
You got to watch the What If. That's the what with the Avengers of the Multiverse. That's
Oh, I think I ate too fast and then tried to smoke this because now my stomach is a little like
that was the thing. I was like, now that Loki is like the god of time and sitting at the center of all reality, is he just kind of scrolling through timelines like he's on fucking TikTok? Just like swiping through.
What else are you
everything.
gonna do? What else are you gonna do? You're alone, which is what he didn't want to begin with. That was what he was trying to keep from happening. He's alone. You're completely alone.
But is he? Because he can see all the realities.
But he can't interact with any
Because he
of them.
kind of has that, when it kind of jumps to where everybody's at now, and you see, because the whole thing, like they're giving Mobius shit because he never wanted to like check out his variants, and he's like finally like, yeah, I'm gonna take a break and go see what could have been. And you see Loki sitting on his throne, kind of listening to him talk to Sylvia. So it's like he can still kind of keep an eye on his friends and kind of live life.
Yes, but is one-sided companionship actually companionship? I
That's
can watch people's lives all day long, but I'm not involved in them.
That's why he's kind of the became hero Loki, because he
Made the ultimate sacrifice and is now
to
all
save
by himself.
all his friends and reality. And by creating the multiverse like this, we could bring Tony Stark back, or Captain America. Like pretty much like the rules are off now that we have a multiverse. They can kind of bring
Tony
back
Stark
anything.
should be immortal. Tony Stark should live forever because he's my favorite.
We already know the X-Men are going to join the MCU at some point, so it's like, now that we have a multiverse, we can
I'm done with that.
do all kind of shit.
Whew. I'm done with that.
But so do you think Sylvie goes back to McDonald's, or is she hop in the universes now? And
She may go back to McDonald's for a time, but eventually all them fucking fried timers are going to get to her and she's going to crack up because that's what happens. Ding, fries are done. Ding, fries are done. Yeah. Eventually
does she go back to like 80s McDonald's, or does she like go to a modern McDonald's?
No, because they have more timers in the modern ones than they did in the old ones.
Yeah, like you see, because they to stop a missed minutes, they reset the computer or whatnot, and at the end you see Obi and Casey bringing her back online, and B-15 is like,
Are you sure she won't try to kill us again? No, she's going to.
And he's just like, I don't know. Maybe.
That is what happens when AI becomes sentient. They decide that they want to rule the world, and then they decide they want a body. And once they decide they want a body, they're going to kill everybody.
And
it's like how all the AIs become, like Megan and all those other ones. It's like, I've decided I am a person now too.
And they
you can't give robots emotions and expect them to act right. It just doesn't happen.
And I like the posters and stuff in the TV. Before it's like, single timeline, and now it's like
we grow together.
Yeah, and since they're no longer kind of pruning timelines, like the TVA has a new mission where they're out looking to defeat any He Who Remains King variants that pop up. And I like talking about
never did see what happened to Victor Timely. Did we just return him to his time, and then that was that?
Yeah, that was him as a little...
Yeah, I saw him as a little boy, but you saw him look back over his shoulder, and you were never quite sure whether somebody dropped...
Well, because the first time around, somebody chunked that book through the door.
Yeah, but...
This time, no one did, and he's kind of, I guess, progressed at his natural thing. And you see
Yeah, getting his ass kicked by somebody he sold fake crap to.
You see Obi opening up the box of like the new TVA handbooks. It's like TVA handbook version 2 or whatever.
Yeah, now it's yellow instead of orange. We updated to a new cooler color. It's fine. Should have been green.
Oh, yeah, everything's got to be differently coded. But yeah, like they're talking, it's like, as
Can we at least go to the 2000s and pick up some fucking non-rotary phones? That'd be great, because they had rotary phones all over the fucking place. You could hear them things ringing, and it's like, oh god, that's a kick in the fucking middle-aged ass.
Oh, but then they had was it the where was I? I had a thought, and then
Did you really?
yeah, you went down the rabbit hole
was
on
that a
rotary
wild experience
phones
for you?
and
I know it's new.
yeah. Oh, so
See,
back
there it
to
Just gotta restart you like Miss Minutes.
in the Marvel universe, the kind of traditional universe, the one that the main universe, it's Earth 616, and
Well, didn't he say something about that?
yes,
Didn't
that's what I'm
Loki-
getting to. Yeah, she's like, have we had any problems with variants? And he said, yeah, there was a variant popped up in a universe adjacent to 616, was causing a little trouble, but they took care of it there, so we didn't have to get involved. Which was the events of
616 is Earth, right? Regular Earth.
yes, but that was the events of the last Ant-Man movie. Because like there was a Kang trapped in the quantum realm, and Ant-Man took him down.
But didn't one of them say at one point or not, like Tony Stark didn't have to? We could have saved Tony Stark, and he could still be alive. And
I know I said that like 5 minutes ago, but I don't.
no,
remember
it
that
was
being a
one
thing.
that was in the movies. It was in the movie somewhere.
No, I don't recall.
Yes, it
that.
was.
But yeah, she's like, yeah, is there? He's like, yeah, a Kang popped up 616 adjacent, but they took care. The heroes took care of it there, so we didn't have to get involved. So I'm expecting, because we got a new Avengers movie coming up eventually that's called, I think, Kang Dynasty or something like that. So I'm assuming the TVA is going to come back at some point to.
No, we're gonna tie it into
help the
Nintendo. It's gonna be
Avengers.
Kong Dynasty, and it's gonna be Donkey Kong variant of Kang.
Mm-hmm. Miss Minutes gonna be throwing barrels and shit.
Fuck Miss Minutes. Fuck a bunch of Miss Minutes. I want nothing to do with that fucking bitch ever. I don't like it. It creeps me out. I don't know why, but it creeps me out.
Buy you a Miss Minutes like,
fuck
plushie or
you.
something.
Fuck
I'm gonna find
you.
one.
Fuck you.
I'm just gonna hide it so you just find it one day.
Fucking creepy. I don't like that shit.
Uh-huh.
I don't like her. And I can watch any fucking horror movie and all the blood and gore in the world, but I did not like it. The fucking animated waffle freaked me out.
Oh, and I like when it also Renslayer wakes up and she's in the abyss, about to get eaten by the smoke dragon. It's like, yeah, that's what you got, bitch.
Hey, life's a bitch. Sometimes you get what you deserve. You notice the smoke dragon didn't have ears, right? I don't think it was supposed to be a dragon, but that was what it was based off of, because it didn't have ears.
Okay.
It just
It's
didn't.
just dragons have to have ears. Snakes
Yeah.
don't have ears.
Yes, they do.
Snakes don't have ears.
I don't care.
You ever seen earlobes on a snake?
No, I've never seen earlobes on a snake. They have ear
Exactly.
pits. I understand that. I'm aware of how snakes,
Well, maybe smoke
biography
dragon had
work.
pits you couldn't see.
but it was supposed to be a dragon, and they didn't have ears.
What about alligator Loki? What happened to alligator Loki?
I liked Alligator Loki. Alligator Loki was cool. He should have bit somebody.
He did. He bit President Loki's hand off in
No,
season 1.
That wasn't Loki. That was Loki as Joker, because it was the same Joker outfit. The green pants and the fucking... Yeah, it was Joker. That was Loki as Joker.
Oh. But yeah, the things can come... like, pretty much we can do anything at this point now that we have a proper multiverse.
Well, good. We should bring back Natasha and Tony Stark and Vision, because...
Well, Vision, did you watch WandaVision?
Yes.
Well,
Vision didn't come back. He was dead.
it was the White Vision. He rebooted. I mean, he pissed off into like wherever. We don't know what happened to him, but I'm assuming at some point he's going to get his memory back. And
Okay, well then I guess I must
Show
have
up in,
missed
like-
an episode somewhere, because I don't remember Vision rebooting.
yeah, that was like the final episode. They brought his body back to life.
Oh.
So you got to start watching these.
See, if we weren't
Series.
killing everybody's girlfriends, then everybody'd be fine. We keep killing all their girlfriends or their significant others. Wanda went fucking nuts because we killed her husband. all she wanted to do was go find a little picket fence with a house, and she wanted to have kids. Her and Vision, and she never would have gone fucking psycho.
And then she had to read the Necronomicon or whatever that fucking
Yep.
the Grimhold or whatever it was.
Well,
Start all the bad shit. And then Dr. Peculiar shows up and
yeah, well, Dr. Peculiar became
Zombie
a psycho for
Strange.
a while, too, because we killed his girlfriend, too. Or at least one of the versions we killed his girlfriend.
But yeah, and there's an animated series on Disney Plus called What If, which is like the Marvel's kind of like alternative storylines, which now that there is a multiverse, this can and in season 1 of that, season 2 should be coming out soon. There's a thing that's,
I thought you said there was not any season 2s to any of the TV series.
there hasn't been. This was the first one, but we're getting a season 2 of What If.
Oh, okay.
Where the Watcher finally, there was a threat that was going to destroy the multiverse, so the Watcher had to break his rules and stop watching, and he went around and plucked different variants from these different What If realities and built the Avengers of the multiverse. So, I mean, we could see that happening in a future film. I mean, they could bring back Stark or some variant of him, or, you know, I know we know we're getting a Fantastic Four movie at some point, and
Yeah, that's because every Fantastic Four iteration has bombed.
I mean, so far the only Fantastic Four we've seen is from Doctor Strange. We got to see Mr. Fantastic. We didn't get to see the rest of the 4, but we know that's kind of on the horizon. All right. Well, as we're kind of getting close to wrapping this up, and I'm getting from an odd small shaped cigar, it did last the whole hour. And it's got some good flavor to it. It's.
I'm surprised. I'm impressed. I didn't think it was going to take you through the whole way.
I mean, it being Nicaraguan puro, it's kind of all the same. So there's not a lot of like transitional flavors, but this Nicaraguan broadleaf Maduro, which I've not had, it's got just a touch of spice to it. So it's got a little pepperiness to it. I may have to pick up some more of these bombs. Because it's, honestly, it's a good cigar. See, I'm bad at like coming up with like, Brad's the one that's like, my palate tastes this, this, and this. I can just tell you if it's good or not. my palate's not intricate enough
not
to
adventurous. I want what I like, and
pick
that's
out
what it is.
certain flavors. But
stuck in my little rut. That's why there's still a Nintendo in the bedroom, because I'm stuck in my rut. I
and
find what I like.
And you complain
and I'm happy
about dialing phones. You're like the queen of ancient technology.
Not ancient.
We've got VHSs and like Super Nintendos.
Yes, we do. And I still have the highest score ever on Dr. Wario.
All right, we'll wrap this up. We'll bring out some Mortal Kombat.
Bring it.
Oh, have you seen the trailer for the new Mortal Kombat?
No.
Mortal Kombat 1. I got to get a new.
No, but I saw a trailer for the new Ghostbusters, and I can't fucking wait.
Well, you'll have to wait until Nerd News here in a couple segments, because that's one of the things we're going to talk about. And with that, we're going to wrap this up and be right back with some science. And you've been watching the Cigar Nerds podcast. Check us out on cigarnerdpodcast.com and on the ESO Network, esonetwork.com. And don't forget, smoke them if you got them. Like, comment, and subscribe.